Hi everyone, I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about how Insomniac would make an Iron Man game, or how I would make an Iron Man game, or really just my ideas on how to make an Iron Man game. I don't know what I should keep titling these, but I think I'll just swap between Insomniac and me. But before we move on to this video, the music selection is going to be the Avengers theme kazoo version. Anyway, let's start with the main menu. For the main menu of this game, I want to take inspiration from Just Cause 4. Now in Just Cause 4, once you hit continue, you can pretty much walk around. Of course you have to load into the game via a loading screen, but that second screen is really cool because you can access more than you can on the main menu, which is a little weird, but it is what it is. But for the Iron Man game, let's say we somehow cut out that initial loading screen, and as soon as we hit play, we jump out of a cargo plane. This could tie really well into the first mission. And this is totally my idea. I totally did not get this from anywhere else. Tony Stark in Iron Man 2 jumping out of a cargo plane for Stark Expo? Don't worry guys, that's real game footage. That's totally not from Iron Man 2. But we should move to the story before they catch on. Now whoever makes this Iron Man game could create a new story, or they could go off the movies. I personally would like to see the story be tailored to the movies, and we can experience the part of the story where Tony Stark's parents get killed. But earlier I said it would be cool if for the first mission you could jump out of a cargo plane. So how would my idea for the main menu tie into the story, you may not be asking? Well, I'll explain it to you. At the start of the story, we could either get a flashback sequence that shows the events of Tony Stark's parents' death in Iron Man 1. That would eventually lead up to Tony Stark jumping out of a cargo plane. Then the story continues after that. Or we could actually play as Tony Stark as a child before the events of Iron Man 1, and then the story continues after that. Playing before the events of Iron Man 1 would also mean we get to witness Tony Stark being kidnapped by the 10 rings and him actually becoming Iron Man and making his first suit. My idea for Iron Man jumping out of a cargo plane for the first mission is more suited for a new story, while my second idea is more tailored to the movies. Even though I gave 2 examples, I think we should have a story tailored to the movies. And we can use my idea for Tony Stark jumping out of a cargo plane once you reach a certain point in the story for the main menu. Quick question, have you guys ever wanted to make your own Iron Man suit?
Just call me angel of the morning, angel.
Now when you see suit customization, you may be thinking changing the color and the design of the armor. An example being changing the color of the original Iron Man suit. But let's say if you could also change the deployment method and the pieces to the actual suit. An example being changing the color to any Iron Man suit, in this case the Mark 1, and changing the helmet. Or if you really wanted to, even the arms and the legs. Now let's also say that you could deploy the suit using nanotech. Now it's not necessarily lore accurate, but you get the point. Now as for the suits, just put all the suits from the MCU in there so we can customize to our heart's content. It is important to note that there is multiple suits that have different deployment methods in the MCU, so in order to actually have those deployment methods, you need to unlock the suit that corresponds with the deployment method. And obviously to have certain suit pieces to go onto your new suit, you have to unlock the suit that has those pieces that you want. And you can also add the nanotech melee weapons. So if you really want to, you can have all the nanotech abilities on the Mark 1. Also, there should be something like the Black Ops emblem editor so you can have custom words and design on your suit. Now let's talk about combat and abilities.
Just touch my cheek before you leave me, baby.
Now there are a lot of Iron Man suits in the MCU, all with their different abilities. For example, the Mark 1 and the Mark 42. The Mark 1 has unsustainable flight, flamethrowers, and a concealed missile in its left arm. And some would also say superhuman strength and durability. It is important to note that every single suit has the things listed above after the Mark 1, from what I know of course. Next is the Mark 42. Now I'm not going to go over every single suit and that suit's abilities because that would take way too long. I know this isn't a good Mark 42 picture, but I couldn't find any good pictures that were from the movies that wasn't him sitting on a couch. Anyway, the Mark 42 has all the things listed above and the ability to be summoned onto Tony Stark anytime, anywhere. Point being that it's taking way too long to explain. If you equip the Mark 1 armor, you have all those abilities and that deployment method. And if you were to equip the Mark 42, your deployment method would be changed and the abilities of the suit. Of course, being able to make your own suit with the pieces of the armors that you have and the abilities of those armors, which you can select which ones, that changes things. Man, I kind of feel like Sam Witwicky explaining his grandfather's backstory to the class. Anyway, I feel like there should be some abilities that carry over to all the suits, like summoning the Iron Legion or the Hulkbuster. But it's time to talk about traversal. Now, the reason why the thumbnail says how Insomniac would make an Iron Man game is because Insomniac has a really good movement system, but mostly because I didn't know Motive was making an Iron Man game at the time. But back to Insomniac's movement system. Swinging is very different from flying, so how would Insomniac pull off an Iron Man-like style movement system? By taking the framework of Anthem's flight movement system. But just flying in a straight line is pretty boring. I'm pretty curious to see what movement system is going to be in an Iron Man game. I have no ideas for an Iron Man movement system other than taking the movement system from Anthem. So that just leaves us with the music.
Just call me angel of the morning, angel.
The main menu music should be driving with the top down. And for free roam, I'm thinking a little bit of that. I'm kidding, guys. The free roam music should either be a new Iron Man theme or a remastered Avengers theme. Well, I hope you guys liked the video longer than 3 minutes. I'm very tired. I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, and don't forget that
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a bunch of scrap!